Hello, everybody. Welcome to 911.
The podcast that St. Helena didn't know it needed.
This is Hillary.
And this is Chris. And thanks for joining us on 911 Podcast.
Hello, Chris. Welcome to our 15th episode.
Hello, Hillary.
So, we've kind of made it big now.
And 15 is the magic number to make it big?
It is,
okay.
In our podcast world.
Mm-hmm.
And we're practically influencers.
Right, with 1,000 followers.
A little more than that, but yes. Mm-hmm. And so I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of reintroduce who we are and what we do here, just for all our new listeners.
What is it you think we do here? I've been asking myself that for 14 episodes.
And yet you're still here.
And I'm still here.
Well, you don't really show up. I kind of bombard you.
Yeah, you kind of do everything. Well, I guess I can take a stab at it. So with a face made for radio, I enjoy doing this podcast because it allows me an artistic outlet. Thank you. And we are able to read the police log, drink wine, and hang out with some really cool people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this is not your full-time job, which I know is surprising for
Unfortunately,
our
no.
listeners.
Unfortunately, no.
So, a quick summary, just hit the highlights of other hats you may be wearing.
Every 5-year-old's dream. Tractors, fire trucks, and helicopters.
Okay. That was perfect.
That's it.
That's great.
Yeah. And if you want to find out more about me, you can look at my Instagram.
You can, or we can do a little about you on ours.
Oh, God.
Like meet the host.
Let's not do that. You're the host, Hillary. I am the co-host.
Oh, excuse me.
Because I want as little responsibility for this project as
named
possible.
you 50% in all legal documents, so that's great.
We actually have an LLC now.
Well, it's filed.
Jeez.
But that's not the point.
It's getting serious.
So, yeah, we hang out, we read the police live, we get to chat with local people or people that are associated with Napa Valley.
True.
Also not my day job. I work in family practice and moonlight in the ER for the fun. Do we want to get into this week's episode?
For sure.
So we tonight are lucky to have not just one guest, but we have two guests with us. Do you want to introduce them?
I would love to introduce them. I'll start with Anie Peszynski. Did I get it right?
Yeah, you did.
It's always a tongue twister, definitely. Yeah. And Scott Gray, two of my really great friends from back in the day, like at least 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, back in the day. COVID back in the day.
Back in the
before COVID.
BC.
Yeah.
And they have a little wine brand called GrayPez. We'll get into how that became. If you couldn't already have figured it out by their last names, we'll talk about that. And anyway, they're making some really awesome Pinot, Rosé, all the things. But anyway, I won't talk the whole time. Let's hear from Anie and Scott.
Yeah, please. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It's great to be
Scott.
here. It's been a long time coming. Cheers.
Yay.
Scott's always wanted a podcast.
So tonight we are going to be discussing the November 2020.
Okay.
And then I also have November 2009 as
Oh,
kind of our
throwback.
Yeah.
Fun, very fun.
Okay.
But first, you want to let us know what we're starting off drinking this evening?
This is our 2020 Rosé, not released yet, so it's kind of fun. You guys are the first to officially try it out in the open. I mean, we've definitely shared it amongst our family and friends, but
Like the next tier.
Yeah.
Like the vaccines,
Yeah.
like we're the one.
You're
We're
like
level-
one.
you're
You're
like
one
1B,
C, maybe
yeah,
1B,
1C.
in between 1B, 1C.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll take that. That's pretty
But
good.
super exciting that we got to bottle this wine this year. I think because of this year, we were able to, get our shit together. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
explicit.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Get our shit together, if you will. So yeah, we were able to bottle it in December, and we really like it. I mean, it's easy drinking. We're excited to release it in February.
Yeah. So we brought 3 wines. We're starting with the rosé. As Anie said, this was one that we're really excited to come out of 2020. Not a lot of people expected anything good to come out of 2020, so we're hoping to change the optics with this rosé. It's pretty tasty though. Coming from El Dorado, up in the foothills on the way up towards Lake Tahoe, if you're familiar with Northern California. So a super fun, fresh, acidic driven, light,
Nice.
kind of Provence style rosé.
Cool. And what was the grape you were?
Pinot Noir.
Pinot,
Rosé
okay.
Pinot. Yep. So we
Cool.
focus strictly on Pinot Noir across the board for GrayPez. That's Anie and I's favorite, varietal. That was kind of what drew us together from the start. We kind of have a long-winded story of how we got going together, but Pinot Noir is really kind of the underlying factor, I think.
It's
I
my
would say
daily.
that.
It's my day.
And
That
Pinot
process,
Noir
yeah.
in Italian or in French means Peanut of the night.
Penis of the night.
That's exactly it.
We'll go with that.
Perfect.
The night penis.
The night
if you
penis,
will.
of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you catch that,
Annie's
Juliet?
favorite. I knew that was going to come out at some point. All right.
Yeah, but so that's what we brought. It's been fun following you guys and seeing your success.
This is phenomenal. It's really good.
Screw cap, if you
Yeah,
will, too.
and it's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Easy
Fun,
access.
fun little piece who I know got a shout out in last episode. Allison Watkins
Yeah.
does our labels of Mountain Tides.
Yes.
So I know you've had Jason on, and you guys are talking about getting Jacob
That's who you
Freeman
guys
on.
have
and
next.
Yeah, they would be a great one. So quick little shout out to Allison, what she's doing with her own little brand, and then Mountain Tides, obviously. They're doing a
Allison
killer
helps
job.
us with like our website, like our labels.
And it's a pink
Branding.
label.
She's so
Yeah.
good.
You
It's
guys
rosé.
don't know me super well, but a good pink.
Yeah, so if you look
Yeah.
if you look at the Pinots, we kind of have like a fun little nerdy aspect to our labels. We put the facts, where it was harvested, when it was harvested, how much whole cluster versus new barrels, kind of all the nerdy facts that you would expect two production folks to have.
Cool.
And on the rosé, we put it's rosé, just crush it,
'Cause it's just-
where the
it's
facts would
rosé.
be, because we just want this to be a fun,
Yeah.
approachable wine. Definitely one if you are going to see GrayPez out on the shelf or in a restaurant, probably are going to see this wine out there.
It's the same grape as our El Dorado, so we get rosé grapes and red wine grapes.
We
from
make it as
El Dorado,
red and a
so.
rosé.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny because we were like the last 3 years that we've been making that wine. Like there's like this taste to it that we can't quite. It's definitely like
distinct.
it's distinct, but it's
Yeah.
like I think if somebody was to blind me on the El Dorado Pinot, I'd be like, this is El Dorado. Like there's just like this. There's not. It's not.
Yeah,
It's not
El Dorado
mouthfeel.
has a
It's
sense
not
of
like.
place.
It kind of just tastes like the dirt,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like, because there's this like really, really red, rich soil
Yeah.
there.
Reminds me a bit of Oakville.
Okay.
And Pritchard Hill, even as you're kind of getting into
Super
that
red.
eastern side of Oakville, like
And is
that
it real
Pritchard Hill.
hot up there in the
It
summer?
does-
Super
they
hot, which is
definitely
why
get some
Pinot is a
warm
weird
streaks. Yeah.
spot there.
And it's helpful for both of us with our day jobs. I guess this kind of leads into a little bit of Annie and I's background. Annie being in production, me more on the hospitality. Pinot Noir, we both kind of make and sell Cabernet for a living. So it's nice Pinot Noir, especially this El Dorado that we're talking about, comes in substantially earlier than any
except
Cabernet. 2020 a little different, yeah, a little
Weird year.
But for the most part,
Yeah.
we're able
It's
to
a
get
normal
this in
Yeah.
and kind of be able to do what we want with it before we have to, you know,
Actually start
kind
doing
of
crazy
doing our
work,
day
yeah.
jobs and and focusing on the
Yeah,
task
day
at hand.
jobs.
So
I
this is
mean,
one
we,
is
we
Well-
get day jobs completely.
multiple. Yeah.
Well, it
You have a
smells.
few day jobs.
It's,
Gotta keep
pretend.
busy.
But wow, it smells great.
Yeah, it's got a really
it is.
pretty floral nose.
Yeah.
A lot of white blossom on
It's a
there.
little bit more, I would say, like there's more fruit, I would say, in the 2020 than the 2019.
Yeah, yeah. So
Like,
this is
but
our
there's
second.
also like this like stoneness to it. Like in the 2019 was more like I would say citrusy,
Yeah,
grapefruity. This has grapefruit too, but it's more like
a little bit more complex. There's a little bit more weight to this.
Nice.
Yeah, you know, it's as with anything. This is our second go at it, so you know we kind of learned and took what we liked and didn't like about our first vintage of this. And
I love it. Well, I've had a few by the pool, and they are outstanding.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's our patio pounder.
Dig it.
porch pounder, if you will.
Yeah,
I feel like that's such a Napa Valley phrase.
such a classic term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it would be a
it's-
southern term, like you
it's-
know, like I
yeah,
got a
but
patio.
in Southern, I feel like it's
on
like
my-
sweet tea
Yeah.
or something like that.
Well, I feel like rosé all day is like the classic one. That's like, oh, like you
Yeah,
brand that, but
but-
like I got up here and started
But
dropping
here it's like the
porch
porch
pounder,
pounder,
yeah,
like
patio
rosé and
pounder.
Sauvignon Blanc.
But I gotta tell you, like with tastings and stuff, I drop that term to people, and people love it. Like, so it's not. It's definitely not, you know, ventured.
so mainstream.
It's not ventured
Yeah.
super far outside of here, at least.
Well, now it will be.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we are pretty massive for you guys.
Yeah.
It sounds like
Thousands
yeah.
of followers.
Well,
You're welcome. We call it the 911 bump.
we have,
You're gonna sell. At
I've
least
heard of it actually. Yeah,
At least
I follow
one-
that hashtag on social media, the 911 bump. Yeah. Did you guys even know that was
That's
a thing?
amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
It's either like an amazing, social media hit or like a pregnancy thing, which is creepy.
They're like,
I get what you're going for. 911 bump. Okay, yeah.
there is only one female co-host in this project. I can assure you, there's no bumping.
For now, we are still 911.
That's absolutely good edited.
Oh no, that's
No
no
wine
mistake. We can't have our listeners think I'm pregnant. Let's just jump right into the log.
on that note, Gene.
Does anyone have a good
Who's
one
got a
they
good
want to
one?
lead us off with?
I mean, how about I'll do a starter because I think Chris had some like
Let's
good
hear
ones.
it.
over there.
Some doozies.
Okay, a man said he was enraged about his items getting damaged in the rain. He asked the person at the house to bring the things inside before the rain, but it didn't happen. That's it.
Oh.
When was that?
This was November 21st.
Does it have an
On a
address?
Saturday. No address. Oh wait, like that?
Oh, it's the
No.
time.
No.
That's the time.
Little military time.
Which-
for you. That should be something.
This
We
was
have-
12/28.
Oh.
Not military yet.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Which is funny because on November 23rd, 2 days later, at 1700, a man lodged a complaint about his items getting wet in the rain.
Same guy probably.
Same guy.
Do we wonder what the
It's
items
probably
were?
the same guy.
It's probably just like, you know,
Do we think it's like cardboard boxes or
Yeah.
like he's part of like a drug scheme
I
and
think
it's
he
all
was-
cocaine?
Cursing the skies and claiming that he invented the question mark.
maybe his Amazon boxes got wet. I don't know. Poor guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry, guy, if this is you.
Did he drive a white BMW?
you know what?
A little homage
So
to the last
throw- yeah,
episode.
throw back to the last episode.
Respectable.
I reviewed this entire month. There's not
No-
one white
no
BMW.
mention?
There's a black Mercedes,
Ugh.
but
Okay.
there's no white BMW.
That
So it's gone.
sucks.
It's gone. It's really unfortunate.
She departed. But with cars, someone brought in what they suspected was a fraudulent letter from the DMV. An officer determined it was valid.
Okay.
Well
Problem solved.
done by the officer.
I know.
Thank you for
Did
the
he check the
validation.
check the
I was
hologram
gonna
on
say,
there?
I
or
would like
what?
to bring in my what is their registration every year and be like, this is fraudulent. Can't pay it. I'm sorry. It's,
Nope, fraudulent. You guys are gonna have to figure this
They're way
out.
overcharging me, so I can't pay it.
Can't do it. How about this is a fun one. November 24th at 12:06 in the afternoon. Report of a loud boom from a blown transformer on Hunt Avenue. A squirrel had touched the lines.
Oh, poor guy.
Do you think he was the one that called 911?
Potentially.
I think so.
Probably.
I hope so.
He might be dead.
I don't think he made it.
Did you call Dr. Gold?
That's a good point.
You should have. You should have
Or
gone out
squirrel.
there.
Or is that Public Works?
Well, was it dead or alive?
Yeah, it was probably
If
dead.
it was coding, Dr. Gold, you start CPR. if it's dead.
Call Public Works.
Speaking of a public works responsibility, on Saturday, November 14th, at 10:22, whatever time that is in military, might just be
It's
10:22.
10:22.
Once you get past
Just
12,
gonna throw that out. I don't know. It was like 0100 hours to 0847 and then
time on mine
10:22.
because
So
like there was one time that I
Also
like missed
okay.
my like alarm.
smarty pants
I
over
set
here.
up
You
the wrong
three.
time.
Yeah. Very relevant to the current times. A person said there was no toilet paper in the public restroom.
Ooh.
Oh, the travesty.
Police notified Public Works. So
The Public
sounds like
Works-
Public Works has a few things on the docket. First and foremost, let's get some toilet paper back in the room.
They wear a lot of hats.
Yes.
What outfits do they wear?
They have, I think, like that
Is it
highway
neon?
safety yellow, green.
That's what I was wondering. What color?
Probably
Because I
neon.
feel like they need
Just
like
high vis, whatever high vis.
They need like a
is.
distinct color.
They
is
need
what
like
I was
an S
getting
on
at.
their chest because they're
Straight
the
purple or
Supermen
something.
Yeah, the
and
same.
women
Superworks.
of Superworks
Ooh,
of
SW.
St. Helena. Let's be honest, they deal with all the crap that no one else wants to deal with.
Very true.
Literal
Very
crap.
true.
Yeah,
Shout out to the
That's
Public
what I
Works.
mean. Like they
So-
do a lot
Good
for
little
our town.
shout out for the Public
I think
Works.
they are what keeps this town going.
Can we have one of them on the podcast at some point?
Public Works, reach out to me. If not, you know I'll reach out to you.
Yeah, you are the backbone of St. Helena.
Jump into the Hillary's DMs.
Maybe the
Oh,
podcast DMs. Don't jump
Yeah.
Here's a good one. Saturday, November 28th. Report of a reckless driver traveling on the wrong side of the road, running a stop sign, almost hitting another car on Crane Avenue. Police contacted the driver, who said he hadn't been looking to the left when making a turn and went into the wrong side of the road to avoid a collision. Police told him to look both ways when turning.
As you should, yeah.
It's pretty solid advice.
Yeah.
Good advice.
From that officer, I must say.
Sometimes
Good
driving's
job,
hard.
officer.
Oh, man.
Speaking of an officer that did a nice job, this was on November 13th.
Nice
Good
segue.
job.
Very basic. Yeah, thank you. I pride myself on my transitions. An officer gave 2 stickers to 2 boys who were wearing their helmets while riding their bikes on Spring Street.
What did you do with your stickers?
Put them on the helmets.
Okay, good.
Of course. Yes, that was me. So, shout out to that officer. Shout out to the boys, most importantly, being safe, wearing their helmets.
Good call.
Helmets, number one.
Yeah,
Safety.
big helmet guy.
Oh, man. Speaking of disasters, I'm out of wine.
Oh,
so,
Yes.
Shoot.
So I think
Let's
we should
go on
What's
to
the next one?
El Dorado.
Yeah, 2019 El Dorado Pinot Noir. So that rosé that you just had,
Yep.
this is a Pinot Noir of that same fruit.
Cool.
So we make a rosé of this, and then a Pinot Noir.
Nice.
So how did you guys start this whole project?
Haha.
You can do the short
You've
version.
been to Rutherford Grill, right?
I've been just like a time or two.
You know.
That place.
Yeah.
It's crowded.
No RG. So just kind of a brief update on how we started. At the time, I was up at Outpost on Howe Mountain, and Annie was down at Mending Wall down here in St. Helena. And both of us kind of at the times, unbeknownst to each other, hadn't met each other yet. We're starting to kind of come up with the idea of starting a wine project. I very quickly after that got moved down to Mending Wall full time in production, and
That
kind
was
of
a hoot.
yeah, that was a fun time when we
Partially
when
because
we first
Thomas Rivers Brown was he up at
Outpost
and then brought you down
and brought me down to Mending Wall.
brings
Yep.
the team he wants
brings the
down.
brings the reinforcements.
Unified everybody.
Reinforcements down to Mending Wall. So I had expressed to Annie early on that I was looking to make a little bit of my own wine, but was very nervous from a winemaking standpoint because at the time I had only worked one harvest, hadn't had a lot of background in winemaking, and Annie very quickly, as we both are oversharers, expressed that she was looking to make her own wine, but didn't have the confidence when it came to selling the wine, finding the fruit,
No idea.
blah, blah, blah. So you mentioned that.
Magic man heaven.
And we kind of just said, hey, let's not be, crazy unrealistic about this, and me trying to make my own brand, her trying to make her own brand. We had a very fortunate situation where we were able to make some wine at the facility that we worked at, so we decided, hey, let's, from the optics standpoint for our bosses and our owners, it probably made a little bit more sense for us to just do something together. And it kind of just happened that we both had a similar fruit source we were looking at. She had worked with the fruit at another winery. I had a previous connection to it. So it really kind of wrote itself as to why we decided to team up and make some wine together.
Cool. Man, that's awesome.
And it all went down at the grill.
So my start of that was the grill. Like literally all of our decisions were made at the grill.
We've heard this before.
With margaritas and French fries.
On this podcast, I think it was with my Dobby sisters. We talked about if you want to see the locals in Napa Valley, the local farmers, go to the grill
At lunch.
Yeah,
at lunch.
Business
or
happens
post
there.
3, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And it just happened at the time Annie and I were both living in downtown Napa.
Cool.
So, on our way down, we'd just be like,
Just
hey,
the traffic
let's
would be
stop at the
let's
grill.
wait it out. You've actually probably come to visit us.
And
a few
seen us
times.
there, yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
the fire guys are coming in. So hey, Chris,
Come on in.
Yeah.
Either coming in or going.
It was and it was great for me because the grill already had a little special place in my heart.
Yeah.
So it was the Rutherford Grill.
Well, you're like a Rutherford local. I mean, you grew
up.
up kind of in Rutherford. Your dad lives in
Yeah, so my folks, that's kind of what got me into wine, what got me into the wine industry was my folks bought a home in Rutherford in 2008. So for me, up until I moved here full time in 2017, what I knew of Napa was Rutherford Grill, La Luna, and the post office.
What else? What else?
What else is
You don't
there
need much
that
more.
Napa has to offer? So as Chris was leading on to, Rutherford Grill has definitely a special place in not only my kind of upbringing in Napa and my memories of Napa, but my family, and then it's even more special that Annie and I kind of share that bond over French dips.
Well, so
Tripoli special. We had Rutherford Grill tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had that sacred French dip.
We're hoping that
The French
Houston's
dip.
is going to sponsor us.
I can up you on that. So the reason I love Rutherford Grill so much is because I'm from Sacramento and I would go to Bandera growing up.
God bless
It's
Bandera.
the same. You walk in and it's the same
thing.
feel.
Yeah.
The same feel. Because R&D is a little different, but Rutherford Grill is like Bandera to me.
So much, yeah.
And it had the same almost menu. They didn't have French fries though at Bandera, which was the next level.
Tough out here.
Oh,
Dear.
but
I
it
miss
just
Bandera.
made it that much
It
sweeter.
was good. It was cool.
Of the growing up with Bandera.
Well, there we go.
So, the Pinot also smells good. Do you guys saunier off some from the Pinot to make the rosé, or do you do a proper, straight up?
So for the
Ferment, or how do you do it?
rosé
Yeah.
That's
is
a nice word.
press. Yeah. I'm so proud of you with your wine terminology.
Basically,
Good job.
Basically,
Did you go to wine college, college or something?
I watched your Instagram. No, actually, I watched. Who washes the grapes?
Who washes grapes?
She washes all the grapes.
Nobody washes grapes.
No, you know who I'm talking about.
Is she a wine influencer?
Yes.
So
No,
you,
she's
You've been watching the wrong
something about
informational
Mary.
channels.
Help me out here. Something about Mary. Who's the girl?
Oh, it's not like a
Lucy,
winemaker.
No, it's probably a wine influencer. What?
What's her name?
I don't know.
I don't think you
You know
follow
this.
her. I don't think we follow her.
Somebody
Martha Stewart.
No. Who was in? Thank you.
I don't want to say her name because I don't want her to hate me, but
We have an LLC now. We can be sued.
I don't
Okay,
like
the
her.
LLC paperwork is not complete.
It hasn't been filed. yeah, that's true.
It is processing with the state.
Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz.
She
Says
is
you should
not a
wash your
winemaker.
grapes.
She doesn't know anything about wine.
All right. So we were talking about the Pinot Noir and
No.
The winemaking differences.
the winemaking differences, the sautering.
Yep.
And, yeah. So
Yep.
Yes. So for our rosé, we actually pick our grapes to press.
I
So it
knew I
goes
loved you
to
guys.
direct press. So
Cool.
instead of sautering, we direct press.
That's
And
cool.
we like that style. I mean, the vineyard that we work with, it's not a huge Pinot block, but we share with one of my all-time mentors, Chris Pittenger of Grovant, and the blocks are different. So it's like we can pick Pinot and we can pick Rosé of Pinot the same day almost, because there's different like variances of like brixes.
where,
So
Yeah,
Where
the,
did you pick
like
them?
the section that we get the Pinot for rosé from would be really hard
to make
for
red
to
wine.
make out of red
okay.
wine. Yeah, like the section where it is in the vineyard, where it kind of sits in its little microclimate, would be really difficult to make it as red wine from the start. So we actually didn't even make a rosé our first vintage. It was kind of after making that first
After
vintage of the
making-
El Dorado, it kind of forced our hand. It was like, yeah,
would be
this
a really
has to
good
be made
rosé.
as rosé, which was
Well, that's so cool because so many for our listeners that don't know rosé, but some people take the bleed, right?
Yep.
It's a Saunier
That's
off of like a
majority of what
Cabernet.
the
or-
Yeah, especially-
American rosés,
especially
are like
here in Napa, the kind of any rosé you're probably seeing out of Napa, which is going to be Cab heavy, Cab Franc heavy, is going to be as what you were talking about, like a Saunier. So you have your red wine ferment going, and after a couple days you bleed that juice off, and that would be a Saunier. Whereas we just press this directly, so it leads to
But if you
a
mean
brighter,
to look at it,
a
like
fresher
it's like
rosé,
so
yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
The rosé is just so clear.
Hell, this is working great.
Puppies.
Chris and I had a little agreement where I said Wallace would be a perfect gentleman and not make any noise. And
No, I mean that wasn't much.
I mean, he's
He
still
could just
growing.
hang by the
He's still
fire.
He's
learning.
fine. He'll be all right. He'll be all right. The more GrayPez we drink, the less troubles we have with the dogs.
Of course.
That's what they say.
Right?
Yep.
So if you're looking
That's
for,
what I say. Yeah. I have
for
2 dogs.
and the more you drink, the better they are.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Especially in the rain, like taking them out to go potty. It's like
So the label, as we were talking about the label, it's cool because you've got this like theme that goes across all the labels of this like
the
silhouette of mountains and trees.
the idea that we brought to Allison Watkins of Allison Watkins Studio. Announcement there.
plug.
Plug.
Little plug.
Plug.
Allison, you can sponsor us.
We love it.
I think she's doing pretty well. She's doing really good.
Which means she can
She's a great photographer, by the way. But
Well,
we brought to her our idea of he's from Southern California, I'm from Northern California. We don't really have like a story, but the story is that we both came together for wine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we both live in Napa, and we just love the ridges of Napa, like Napa Valley ridges. Like the label literally has nothing to do with our Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
It has to do with where we are from and living now, and just the ridges that are in the label are all ridges from like Napa Valley.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's like a layer of different ridges.
That's
is what
awesome.
it
I
is.
think we figured, making Pinot Noir in Napa Valley is kind of already obscure in and of itself. This is Cab Country, so we felt like we definitely, beyond just using obviously our 2 last names for the name of the brand, we felt like we wanted to highlight what brought us together, which was Napa Valley. We both kind of came here chasing similar dreams, at least in the sense of just wine, and felt like that was something to highlight in our brand. So yeah, those ridges are a compilation of looking out from Mending Wall, again, where Anie and I met and where we make GrayPez, some sites down in South Napa where I live, Anie kind of up in North Napa at the time where she was living. So Allison just did a beautiful job of kind of overlaying all those, and we feel like it's just something that not only people, I think, kind of resent with, but it's something special to us because
Fun fact about our 18 vintage. So 18 was our
First
first
year.
vintage.
Yep.
Only made Pinot from El Dorado and Pinot from Sonoma. Learned a lot that first vintage
Yeah.
about the winemaking was the easiest part. we did it, and then it's like, okay, what do we do now?
Mm-hmm.
How do we get it into bottle? How do we do all that? Learned a lot. We picked one bottle that we loved, but then so we picked a bottle, and then we picked a label, and like they didn't work together.
Oh, wait, which one was that?
Well, so
Yeah.
this is our Sonoma, right?
This is Sonoma. This is
Yep.
2008.
So that's the same bottle as we have now.
Got it.
But there's like a little bit of a shorter bottle, like the burgundy bottle, like
Yeah.
a little bit fatter at the bottom. It didn't fit the like the
Oh,
wrap,
the actual
the
label.
wrap
The
label, you know,
and
that
the
we
label
have.
itself, yeah.
And so our El Dorado was handmade, hand bottled, hand labeled.
And labels cut by hand.
So-
So we ordered we ordered the glass. We ordered our labels.
It was
This is our
only
first-
like 60 cases.
60 cases, yeah. Our first vintage go at it, so we're kind of doing this all on the fly. And he's like, "Did you order glass?" I'm like, "Yeah. I'll contact him. We got the glass. We got the labels."
the
And
whole,
this
like-
was literally like 2 days before bottling. We realized that we kind of
The
went
label
with
didn't
this
fit.
beautiful wrap label that didn't fit on this bottle that we picked.
no.
So Annie, to her credit, she definitely did a little bit more work on this front than I did. Took home about 100 labels each night, and mind you, we bottled about 600 bottles
Yeah.
of this wine. Went home and individually hand cut each El Dorado GrayPez label with a kind of your classic teacher's slicer back.
We
in
would have brought
like
18
third or
El
fourth
Dorado,
grade.
but we're sold out of that. But like,
So just a
It just
fun
doesn't
little
look
piece
right.
on that El Dorado. Yeah, but that kind of just that puts it in perspective exactly what this brand is.
So what happens is that we figured out, because we
Yeah.
hand bottled that Pinot in August,
Mm-hmm.
and then we wanted to sit our Sonoma Pinot on our barrels on
Mm-hmm.
new oak for a little bit longer, so we bottled that in December. So we had time to like figure out a new bottle, and like we put it on a bottling truck, and like it was
Right.
so it's a little bit more fluent in this bottle. So this is our 18 Pinot,
Cool.
but like it just looks a little bit more a little chody, that other
the
other bottle.
It's definitely something that we'll remember.
Yeah.
For many vintages to
I
come.
think I have an old. I think I have
You
an
might,
original.
maybe.
I feel
do.
like you potentially might.
It's
Yeah.
probably here somewhere.
So
that's
that
cool.
kind
Yeah.
of gets us into, as you can see, I know this is
Oh, you made
an
an
audio
adjustment.
version.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is 18.
Cool.
So we had a white background
Yep.
for the copy of GrayPez in 18, and then in 19, again, follow us on social media. You guys can follow along as to what we're talking about. But we switched to this black. It
like it.
definitely pops a little bit more.
I like that.
Highlights
Much
a little
easier
bit
to
more.
see.
Which is why we love like the rosé label, because like the pink kind of makes the white pop a little bit more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so along with some winemaking changes, that was definitely a prominent change for us from 18 to 19 was the label switch up.
Cool.
Yeah.
There we go.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Who's
Alright.
next on the reports?
Who wants the best one of the night?
I think
Are
Who
we,
wants to
are
read
we
it?
ready
I
for
think
that?
that's you.
I think you gotta go for it.
Wait. Yeah.
I think we're there.
All right. Here we go. This is November 2009.
Really quick, where was everyone in November 2009?
Great,
Nine.
love that.
Ooh, I was 19.
Nicely done.
Wow, you're so young.
I was in college in November. Oh,
You
I was probably really drunk.
It was.
It was my
Honesty and
first year. No,
This was-
no, that was my second year. of college.
This was
First year.
Halloween, October. Or
Second college.
Halloween.
This would have been
2009.
Halloween weekend.
Yeah, 2009.
2009.
I was a sophomore in college.
Definitely drunk. And
Holy moly, I was
Sax-
so drunk.
wait,
I probably was a
Sax
Navajo. I was a Navajo.
I'm gonna date you guys even more. I was a freshman in high school. I was probably focusing on athletics at the time and not intoxicated because I was a very responsible, very respectable freshman
Okay,
in high
Stony
school at the
Baloney.
time.
I would have been a freshman in college.
Mhm.
And I remember I was dangerous that year for Halloween. So I made an outfit out of caution tape. Then I just told everyone I was dangerous.
Now that's dangerous.
That's super dangerous.
Nothing has changed.
Still
You're
wears
saying
that
it's
outfit
still-
out.
That's all they need.
No
Still
one's
in the
seen me.
closet.
You guys haven't seen me at the grill?
Oh, I thought that.
Anna's?
That's what I saw. I was staying away from the
You seen the
danger.
caution tape in front of Anna's door? Yeah.
So at 1403, which is 203.
Thank you.
Wait, you didn't say where you were in
Oh, no.
2009.
Yeah, I think you're avoiding it.
Sorry.
Yeah, wait a second.
Is
That's
it
going to
really-
age
Are
everyone.
you just
there.
saying that because
Is
you
it that
think you're
important?
old?
Is it that important?
Yes, it
Not
is.
that important.
I think
Yes,
so.
it is.
No.
November
Yes.
2009.
I was in Iraq
Oh.
fighting.
Well, that's important.
But
You
it's-
were
I
dangerous
wasn't,
in a different
I
way.
wasn't. I didn't get a drink or anything. It wasn't any fun.
I think I actually probably was pretty sober. I was pretty innocent my freshman year.
Okay.
Yeah.
I drink enough for the both of us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's just wrap it up at Chris was doing a lot better things than
He
any
was
of
just
us
being
were
a better
in
human,
2009.
as he always is at the moment right now.
I was saving lives,
Yes.
cheating death.
Saving
and
Thank
Right.
you, sir.
If you
Right.
need to borrow the caution tape top, though,
That's a
let me
good
know.
point.
Yeah.
I did have to cut myself out of it because I had to tie myself into it to really complete the outfit.
Good to know.
But we can hot glue it.
Turns out costume is not useful anymore.
Thankfully, 911 is an audio-only version, and you won't have to see any Chris dressed in caution tape.
Why not?
I'd have to get a lot more
GrayPez in you.
GrayPez for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And a lot more sponsors, which equates to money.
Okay, tire.
Maybe an OnlyFans
Possibly
911.
you.
I don't
Okay,
know.
tired?
Okay, tire.
Is that how we need to get sponsored? We're resorting to OnlyFans to get sponsors? Chris, I had not signed up for this.
I'd say you.
Oh,
1403, a Bella Vista resident asked if they had any calls that had been received about a large white duck that had gotten out of its yard. It will come to you if you quack.
can you imagine when
Still quacky.
the police department going around, quack, 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 quack? Do you think the duck had a name or its name was Quack?
That's a great question.
That's
Coming
a
to
really
its name.
solid
Great
point.
question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do we think the duck was found?
I hope so.
A fat quack.
I hope so.
Probably.
I don't know. I'd like to think he came back home.
But maybe not, because he got away, so it's
No,
like
they're
fat.
still quacking.
He's still quacking.
Maybe
Still
he's
quacking.
still living. What is that little creek area by Divorce Court? You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about?
do. I don't know the name.
But maybe it's living its life there.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
he's just doing
Certainly,
his thing.
11 years later, it's certainly still alive.
I hope so.
Definitely still there. Interesting one here on Tuesday, November 10th. A mother couldn't find her 15-year-old daughter.
Ooh.
The officer contacted her, and the girl returned. So maybe
That's interesting.
some interesting dynamics between the mother and daughter.
Is the officer her
Cop
father?
was able to get right to her. So my recommendation on that would be for the mother and daughter to kind of figure
You need
out.
to work it out. Wait, so how'd you guys find the El Dorado Vineyard? I'm curious about this.
So Chris Pittenger.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
my little background.
Yep.
I went to Cal Poly, but you know this. You don't know this.
I don't. Fill me
Where
in.
everyone in Napa Valley goes. Cal Poly. It's like
Yeah.
the cool.
Cal
it's
Poly or Chico?
Cal Poly or Chico,
Yes.
but most ag people involved
Cal
in
Poly.
Yeah.
wine, go to Cal
Do
Poly.
you
It's
think
cool.
that's why we don't have like a lot
Cal
of
Poly,
friends and we really hang out
slow
with
is
each other?
definitely
Yeah, it's a place
The
to
place
be,
to
man.
be.
It's so cool. I'm so jealous.
I went down there,
Yeah.
you know, a little COVID trip. We went camping and it was nice to be able to just get down there and like see it. It's definitely different because you know it's COVID and sadness and you can't be like out to the bars and like.
Because that.
But
is
then
the
you get to go
coolest.
to the beach and it's fun and like then you see cows on the other side of the road and you're like, oh,
So fun.
this is Central California.
Mhm.
Anyways, so went to Cal Poly. My first harvest actually was up in Placerville, which is near what's El Dorado area, and I worked with Chris Pittenger at Skinner Vineyards,
Yep.
Skinner Winery. I was 21. It was
Cool.
awesome. I was living at home, working 45 minutes away, and driving. You know, it was probably an hour away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still, I loved it.
Nice.
First harvest, loved it. Then I went to Napa,
Mm-hmm.
worked all over.
Then you went to Flowers too.
I did.
Right?
Well, before Flowers was New Zealand, and then Flowers, and then I went back to Napa, Cake
Cool.
Bread, Mending Wall. So
Wow.
yeah, I've been literally all over. Honeycut was where I kind of
Yeah.
found Jason Driscoll. Was
Mhm.
where we
I think
met.
we heard
and
about that
Jake
last
and-
episode.
yeah.
That's where I feel this
The Honey
new-
Club.
The Honey Club
Honey
next
Club.
generation of wine people.
Yeah.
That should be your next one. It'd be like Jake and Jason and me and
We're trying to get
G
Jake.
and
Yeah.
G's at where's G's at
Oh,
Boshin.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So just a good group of people working together at a custom crush, and like that's always been like my mentality of like winemaking and learning is
Right.
the custom crush mentality is if you want to learn winemaking, like custom crush is great because you get to learn from different winemakers and
Right, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know,
El Dorado made sense for us too, from a brand standpoint. I think both of us and all four of us at this table, being kind of the younger millennial generation of
Thanks for
drinkers.
including me in that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We know your backstory. I think with our Sonoma, that's definitely I think what Annie and I would call our flagship, our wine that we're most proud of. But the El Dorado was not only one that had a special place for Annie, just kind of from her upbringing, but also just from a price point standpoint. Obviously, we're calling a spade here. The Pinot Noir that's coming up from there is definitely not the same caliber and price point as the Sonoma is, so it really gave us the opportunity to have that $35 kind of entry-level Pinot Noir price point that we felt a lot of our, maybe not necessarily family, but a lot of our friends from her days at Cal Poly. I went to school out in Arizona. And kind of a lot of our following is from those early days in kind of our upbringing. Yeah, so with the El Dorado Vineyard, I think that really again kind of it was before we ever thought about making a rosé, but once we did add the rosé, it made perfect sense in terms of kind of the 3 SKU lineup, going from the rosé at a nice $25 entry price point. We have this El Dorado that's $35 and then the Sonoma that's $50.
Cool.
So we really loved not only, again, the importance of the El Dorado region and that vineyard specifically with Annie's upbringing and experience in winemaking, but really gave us a good opportunity to kind of have varying price points in an entry-level wine, so to speak.
Nice. No, this one's phenomenal. It's
so
so good.
The one you're drinking now is our 19 Sonoma.
Cool.
So we haven't released this one yet, but...
I was just talking about the El Dorado. Yeah.
But he's sipping on
I
the
just started
19
Sonoma.
Sonoma.
Okay.
So 30% whole cluster. Cool. Oh, you get the clones, the tons. Oh, that's so awesome.
Yep.
No way.
Yeah, so we get a little nerdy there on the back.
Yeah. Cool. I dig it. So the whole cluster thing, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super, super hip.
Yeah.
So in 19, we were able to connect with... So Mike Herby was one of my connections at Honeycutt, and we worked with a vineyard with him for our Sonoma for 19 going forward, hopefully. So
cool.
I'm very excited about that.
Nice. So with the whole cluster, do you feel that... Because if you do 100% whole cluster, like it's aggressively like green?
Yeah.
Is that the right word? Like earthy, green?
Like it's not... I mean, it's not...
But a little bit adds in some pretty
it's something,
cool...
It's something that's definitely made on a vintage to vintage, decision. It's something that literally Annie and I,
bin to bin, like we'll...
As cliche as this sounds, we literally try stems. We'll pick up stems of full, berries and literally just taste them.
How lignified they are, like you don't want them to be too green. And like,
Yep.
And,
cool.
You're a viticulturist now.
Far from it. Far from it.
But nobody does whole cluster.
Yeah, so if you look at like our 18 Sonoma, we were at 40% on this. So again, it's a vintage to vintage decision.
Nice.
Something that we kind of have found that, again, working with a new vineyard, you definitely want to be conservative in your first couple years. And so I think it's something that we'll continue to kind of toy with and find that balance. So but it's definitely not going to be a consistent, 30% every vintage. It could be 30, it could be, 100% probably would be out of the question. Grenache, you see that a little bit more. Zinfandel, sometimes you hear. Syrah.
In Australia, we did New Zealand, we did a 100% whole cluster.
Wow.
Syrah. Just not really something you do all the
So
time.
how did it turn out?
It turned out fine. It was kind of like the end of the harvest. The winemaker's like,
screw it,
nah,
just do it.
it's good.
Nice. Cool. And then do you guys, is it fermented like its own yeast or is it like natural?
18 we did native.
Cool.
That was partly, I think, from a stylistic standpoint, we both agreed that we really liked kind of that old world, that funky Pinot Noir. So we were like, you know what, let's do it. Let's be nerdy. Let's be these fun new winemakers that aren't going to add anything to our wine. We're going to go with this, kind of native ferment, which we were super happy with, which I think, you guys could jump in here pretty quickly too as well. We were happy with the product, but in 19 we did decide.
Is it harder?
We put with some yeast.
Is it harder to do natural?
Maybe not necessarily harder, but it's definitely a little bit more of a risk.
Yeah.
Especially from a financial standpoint, you're entering that ballgame of stuck ferments, and you're really then at the mercy of what Mother Nature is giving you. And we just felt like
and
in
we
19,
also in 18 we didn't have any tank influence.
Space,
it was all like tea bins and
very small
like macro
lots.
bins, so small.
A ton
lot.
here, 2 tons there.
But in 19 we were able to ferment in a tank, so we had enough tonnage, and so that was kind of fun to play with and like be able to like do an actual cold settling.
Yeah.
And so the yeast we really liked actually adding to the 19 Sonoma.
Cool.
Yeah, so as Annie's like alluding to, in 2018 we literally just threw grapes into a bin.
Yeah.
It was, we did T-bin, S-bin ferments. Annie and I were in there every other day, sometimes with our feet, sometimes with a punch down tool. 19, as we kind of went up in production a little bit, we were able to get ourselves into a tank which has the temperature control and all that. So it's just a little bit more controllable.
Yeah.
And I think probably as you could allude to what's in your glass now, it's just a little bit more complex. It's a little bit more textured. There's just a little bit more going on. Again, not necessarily a better or worse or comparing them. It's just a little bit of a different style that we wanted to achieve, especially with the Sonoma that's in your glass at that price point. That's kind of our flagship.
Definitely my favorite. What's your guys' favorite?
I love the 19 Eldorado.
And Dorado?
Mine goes back and forth right now between the 19 Eldorado and the 19 Sonoma. I think long term, definitely the 19 Sonoma. I'm a little bit, my palate's a little bit more kind of on the cab drinkers side of things than hers is. So I like kind of the complexity of this comparatively to the 18. It's definitely got a little bit more.
I mean, not
complexion.
to lie, like I've probably housed a good few cases of the rosé.
Yeah, I think both of our moms would tell you
I
that
think my mom
bar
bought,
none our
bought
rosé is
10 cases of rosé.
God bless them.
My dad actually has become a rosé drinker. It's actually funny. So we did our first vintage when we did our inaugural release. We did a release party in Napa, and then we did a release party down in Sonoma, in Southern California. And
That's right. Yeah.
between just those release parties, people just bought wine, and his stepdad's friends didn't like light wines.
They were all big
rosé.
cab
big
drinkers.
guys,
They were like, oh,
they
Pinot,
came to
we're
us,
not
the
even
El Dorado
like
is
Pinot.
their favorite. We're like, you like the El Dorado, which is the very, very light. It's almost like a rosé like Pinot. It's just so light. And I think we've changed some people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, that was something that
You
we
converted them.
Yeah,
converted
exactly. I think a lot of our customer base is definitely from both of our day job connections and then both of our family connections. Her dad, my dad, both are big California cab drinkers.
People,
So it was really fun and kind of a shot in the dark on hey, this is who we're going to use as our kind of inaugural vintage. This is who we're going to rely on to buy this wine. And we were a little unsure of how even the Sonoma would be received on these big bold cab drinkers.
Sonoma's still elegant. It's not like it's a big bold wine. It's just it's compared to the El Dorado, it's bigger.
It's definitely bigger comparatively to the El Dorado, but that's what as I was alluding to, it's we love that we have kind of three completely different wines from all ends of the spectrum. You can be rosé, it's rosé, just crush it. It can be El Dorado, it can be fun, fresh, and kind of flirty, so to speak, and then it can be Sonoma, which is just a little bit more of a serious wine.
Cool. Fun, fresh, and flirty.
Fun, fresh, and flirty.
Describes you guys
I
to it.
said flesh and front flesh and 30. God.
Fun, fresh.
The wine's getting to me.
That's how you know it's good. Man, that's really cool. So, it's okay. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. It's good.
I can't deal.
It's hard. It's really hard.
For those
Hiller's
listening,
a little distracted for those listening.
Is he crate
We
trained?
haven't heard from her.
He does great in his crate.
we put
I know.
Wallace
He has
in the mudroom.
Sir Wallace is
In the mudroom.
His father locked him away.
his pod father.
Yeah.
His
Oh my
paw
God.
father.
That's the new term. Wow, amazing. All right, speaking of dogs, on November 20th,
Oh yes.
I'm not referring to myself, but on November 29th at 9:20, a stray dog was reunited with its family on Childs Avenue.
Oh, thank
Happy
goodness.
story.
That's good. That's good. And then later that night, 1822, report of a possible drunk driver on Highway 29. Police stopped the driver who was not drunk.
Have you ever thought that could be you?
Oh, for sure.
100%. Is someone thinking behind me right now?
not
Are
even,
they calling?
Yeah, not even on my phone, but sometimes I get to a jam session
Yep.
and I was like, oh.
Like maybe if I go 10 and 2, they'll notice I'm really responsible too,
Yeah.
and they won't
Act
call.
natural. Act natural.
Oh, I love it.
I've got one. A report of two suspicious people in a
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
in a pickup truck. They turned out to be tree cutters.
Tree huggers?
Tree cutters. Tree cutters.
They were probably hugging the tree.
Potentially, at one point when you're cutting the
Why
tree,
are
I'd
you
imagine you might be hugging it, but yes. Now that might be more suspicious.
Friday, November 20th, 11:47. A caller saw 30 or 40 screws in the road near Railroad and Hunt and was concerned about someone getting a flat tire.
Do you
Go
think
pick them up.
they had just gone to like Steve's and their bag broke?
Probably.
But like if you're buying 30 to 40,
They're supporting local businesses.
yeah, but you're not like just like a mom
Where's
and pop
Spring
type.
Street?
Like I'm doing a little remodel.
But, Goose and Gander.
Goose and gander.
Oh.
Speaking of which,
This is a
don't
good
we
one.
miss Goose and Gander?
My goodness.
Does anyone miss Goose and
How about
Gander?
that big ice ball that they did?
How about
yes.
this November 8th report of people listening to music and talking very loudly on Spring Street?
At Goose and Gander?
It probably was me.
I miss it.
I live very
Are you
close
on
to
Spring
there.
Street?
I'm not on Spring, but I live close to Spring, and it could have been me.
Those
I get
people have a
excited.
holiday
If you want to
having
give us
so
your
much
address,
fun.
we can have Julia bleep it out after.
I want to have fun. This is fun. I miss people.
I know, right? So
Ooh, this is a good one. This was at 3:30 on November 7th. That was a Saturday. Report of suspicious man whistling at two women behind a Main Street business. The women got scared and ran away. Police contacted the man, who said it had been a misunderstanding.
What date did you say that happened on? That's a serious question.
November 7th.
That's funny because I had
Ooh.
a incident that happened on November 9th.
Oh.
Did you whistle at some women and then they turned you in? You were like, "Oh, I wasn't hitting on them. I just
Hillary.
got excited."
There was a report of a man trying to shove a woman into a truck on Main Street.
wow. The plot thickens.
Ooh. Is there
Wasn't a
more?
white BMW. Nope.
Report of 3 people drinking at Lewis Station Park, where alcohol consumption is not allowed.
I think
Where
it's
is
Napa
Lewis
Valley.
Station Park?
Well,
is that
this
Angwin?
we did acknowledge that this is during COVID, and I'm pretty sure all alcohol restriction laws were uplifted. I saw a great
on your
post
own.
from Cook the other day that they're opening back up for outdoor, which I can't wait to get back out and support.
I
Shout out
know.
to all of our St. Helena
Love me some Cook.
restaurants that are
They're coming back.
Hanging in
Your
there
village
and
at Charter Oak
coming
is
back.
opening.
I mean, like,
Yep,
how
the
has-
yurts over at Charter Oak.
Yeah.
The
I will
tasting
be
rooms
there.
are back open now.
Mhm.
Come visit us.
So how has selling the GrayPez and where you actually do your day job been
course.
with COVID?
Yeah, with GrayPez specifically.
Better for him.
Yeah,
My
it's
day
great.
job's different than his day
Great
job.
for me. With GrayPez specifically, we found actually, especially early on, as I'm sure you guys were all well aware, kind of when that initial quarantine thing happened, everyone was talking about stocking up on their quarantine wine, this and that. It kind of happened brilliantly for Anie and I. We released our first vintage in February of 2020.
Boom.
So very quickly, we were all of a
There was
sudden
some pretty
finding
high
ourselves
up people in Napa.
people
like,
stocking
buying
up,
wine
like,
from us. Like
buying
Mikhail, like,
cases of this,
told
cases
people,
of that.
like, it was good.
So we had a lot of success, especially early on. I think our price points helped us out in that standpoint.
So what you're saying is we should combine 1-year anniversary parties.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
They're more than 1 year. They're like 2.5. So.
Well, like no, well,
Yeah, in the
our
making,
selling
but
of our wine
vintage.
has only been
Yeah, we've
since
only had
March
2
of
vintages.
2020.
And we released March 29th,
All right, fair enough.
2020.
Yeah.
Everyone, March 2021, put your calendars.
We'll
GrayPez
do
number
a
one.
GrayPez number one.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so for great.
time hurts. Like I'm like, what year is it?
For GrayPez, we found some decent success.
Yeah.
We wanted to be really courteous and conscious
Yeah.
of kind of the times, and didn't want to push too much wine on people and too much hey, buy our wine,
We
things
don't
are
have
tough.
too much wine to sell.
We don't have too much wine to sell either, which was a nice thing. For me specifically, for my day job over at Mending Wall, where I kind of help run the tasting room over there, things definitely slowed down, kind of to a screeching halt for sure. We kind of went back and forth, between indoor there for a minute and then full shutdown.
It's like red light, purple light.
Yeah,
red
it was
light.
this back and
Whatever.
forth. This last shutdown that took place was almost kind of a relief in the sense that we, when they told us it was going to be at least 3 weeks and if not indefinite, it was nice to just know that we're not going to play this game of back and forth. But it's been challenging. It's been challenging for us. It's been challenging, for a lot of the other big brands. We as GrayPez have the luxury of being a remote brand, and nothing from our standpoint in our strategy kind of changed with this. Whereas the places that have brick and mortar restaurants, like we talked about, Cook, you name it, they've had to endure a lot more challenges. So we feel very fortunate for the support that we've gotten from our friends and family. We really felt obligated to in turn support other local small businesses.
One of the girls was Casey Miller from Fit Envy Fit. She has been a huge support of us. I went there like a couple times, and
The old Benjamin Franklin.
I just miss like going to like workout studios.
They're outside.
Yeah, they're doing
I
it
know,
outside.
but like
Because
I
I live nearby and I keep threatening that I'm going to drag my Peloton to the corner and like just
scoot it.
and just like join a class, but like just be like across
Hi,
the street.
I'm here. I'm present.
Not paying for it.
Huge support.
Yeah,
So
they've been great.
shout out
the,
to Fit Napa Valley.
the folks over at Acme. If you guys are familiar,
Mm-hmm.
a fun local wine shop here in St. Helena. They've been awesome. They support a lot of kind of brands similar to our size.
They love your
I know
dad's wine,
Jason's.
though.
I know Jason's in there. I know Allison. My folks brand, Riverrain is in there. So they've been, honestly, they deserve a true shout out, not only for what they've done for us, but for a lot of these brands our size through this. They've really pushed their wine club, and they really like to support kind of local, small brands. So we found our success here and there. I think as most people would relate to, probably most people that you guys have interviewed over the course of the last 8 to 10 months, we are just kind of making do with what you can. We take what we can get. We were hoping to use some of this time to build some traction with restaurants, with bottle shops, with wine
Our goal
shops.
was to get the Sonoma into like restaurants, and
Obviously,
and then COVID happened.
that kind of didn't become a thing, especially with this rosé. We kind of upped production a little bit in this,
which we will keep doing because
which
that
we will
just
keep
keeps
doing.
getting
Yep. So
sold.
if you like the rosé, keep buying it.
So
and-
speaking of where can we buy you?
So
wine.
locally, not a substantial amount of places.
Scott
Acme-
is on Scott Gray at Scott Gray Instagram.
Okay.
Find him there probably.
Yep. So my Instagram.
So
our
yeah,
GrayPez
where do we
Instagram.
find you? Where do we follow you?
Yep. So the best place to buy our wine is going to be on our website. Like I said, Acme is probably our biggest local supporter. Our goal.
Our website is GrayPez, but
Yep,
people
GrayPezWines.com.
don't necessarily know what GrayPez is spelled out. So it's GrayPez.
Yep.
Yes.
For
So kind of
Peszynski.
It's
kind of a play
short,
on grapes.
short for
Yep.
Peszynski.
My last name, Annie's nickname in high school, Pez. So GrayPezWines.com is where you can find us, and where kind of would be the best source for direct contact. As Annie said, I'm a little bit more active on my social media personal account. I kind of link that with the brand account. So if you would like to send me a message as well, you can send one there.
/OnlyFans.
Slide
/OnlyFans _ Scott - Gray. Might be a GrayPez OnlyFans as well.
50 Shades of Pinot.
But the goal is to be able to get this out into, as you said, Chris, into some more local spots. Rutherford Grill would be one that we would love. So shout out to the Hillstone folks.
That was our number
over
one
there.
goal was to.
I was gonna say I almost suggested that we do this episode at the grill.
Rutherford Grill.
But I thought that might be a little.
I know.
Like they just reopened today. That might be a
It's
little.
a little excessive.
A little too much.
I mean, I'm all about the excessive and over the top. So.
Oh my
Big
God.
fan. But yeah, so the best place to find us right now is on our website. This was kind of brilliant timing in the sense that we do have a release coming up, February 23rd. Of this year, we are releasing all 3 of our SKUs: our rosé, our El Dorado Pinot Noir, and our Sonoma Coast Pinot Noir.
20 rosé and 19 pinots.
And
Count me
this episode will release February 16th.
So brilliant.
Yeah, so we have a new release schedule. We're going to do the
Perfect.
third Tuesday of every single month.
Cool.
And you can find who our next guest is going to be in the St. Helena Living magazine.
Yes, and
So
it
you
sounds
guys
like we
will
have
be-
some exciting news for the next guest.
I feel so like
I'm really
fancy
excited
right
for you
now.
guys.
And
So
I
we're
think the
gonna-
coolest thing that you guys talked about
Do
today
like a
was
hip hop.
hello.
Hey guys.
That is so cool, like because you guys supporting local people like you and local producers. It's like Annie's literally in her bedroom cutting these labels, sticking
Yeah.
them on bottles of wine. Like you
Maybe
can't,
I was in the living room, like cutting them. Like
It's
in
about as
line,
mom
okay?
and pop as you can get.
you can't
Yeah.
support local people more than buying GrayPez wine.
Yeah, and I know it's. I was actually a little intimidated coming here just from the sense that both of you guys are such St. Helena locals, and both of us kind of being
Not
outsiders. And I know Annie has her experience, I have my
We
experience.
won't quite consider you a local, but we'll still take you.
Close enough, right? Through I think both of our backgrounds.
Sacramento's close enough.
It's been so fun getting to be immersed in this community, and just see what the power of this valley can do. So I'm really excited
power of
to
this
see what
valley.
you guys
That
see
is
what
a
you guys
great-
do.
That's a
Really,
good line right
like-
there.
That
There's
This is why You do
The
like the
power of
marketing and
Valley.
the sales.
But really, we're
The
a
power
rural
of the
community
Valley
that
we
has
do.
like this incredible.
Yeah, the sense of community here is unbelievable. It's
It
it's,
really
it's
is.
people
And
like
the
you guys.
opportunity and
That,
everything.
yeah, it's what attracts folks like us that are not from here, to a place like this.
really is.
It's really cool.
And I think there's the name of our episode, the Power of the Valley with a white duck named Quack.
I love that.
Yes!
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. And cheers to your guys' continued success.
Yeah.
So that was another episode of 911 Podcast. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram at 911 Podcast, spelt out, not numbers.
If you number it, you'll never find it.
Yeah, made that mistake.
If you have any questions, you can email us at 911podcast@gmail.com and find us on Facebook and all streaming sites. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Cheers.
NAR 2243. You enjoy your evening and be safe.